As a native Sacramentan, I reckon I should be thankful that the Kings are owned by Vivek Ranadive, that he saved the team, kept them in town, and got Golden1 Center built. However, his presence here, it just lingers over us like the sword of Damocles. We all just wait for his next dumbass decision to befall us. And boy, oh boy, it looks like we may not have to wait all that much longer for that. Ranadive continues to push Sacramento and its AAA ballpark, Sutter Health Park, as a temporary home for the Oakland Athletics as they search for a place to play in 2025 to 2028 possibly. A man who turned Sacramento into a basketball hell is now wanting to make a deal with Major League Baseball's devil, and for what? There's seemingly no good reason for the Kings owner to be making this deal. Then again, the Kings owner is a figure who seems to enjoy doing dumb things for no reason in particular. I am Cheyenne Hollis. This is the Touchbag, and you know, Vivek Ranadive helping the Oakland A's move to Las Vegas, being a part of this whole deal, is just further proof he's awful, and maybe he needs to consider selling the Kings.
The 8th pick in the 2016 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Marquise Chris.
Some of you may be saying selling the Kings, that's a bit much, but look at Ranadive's track record as owner of the franchise, installing a massive laser beam and fielding a competitive side after a decade or so in charge does not negate those other years where he spent making or approving bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. Yes, he saved the Sacramento Kings, there is no denying that, but how much crap must we in the city put up with before that goodwill eventually wears off? Even amidst his best stretch of owner, which isn't saying much, Ranadive is still making some horrible decisions. Those just happen to be getting less attention because, as we all know, winning cures all. That brings us to another owner doing some terrible things, Oakland A's lead man, John Fisher. In many ways, you know, it's not all that surprising Fisher and Ranadive have linked up here. Fisher loves to lie. Ranadive loves being lied to. He loves being fed BS. These are peas in a pod if there ever was such a thing. In addition to owning the Kings, Ranadive acquired the Sacramento Rivercats and their home of Sutter Health Park. Fisher, meanwhile, is desperate for a stadium his baseball team can use for a few years as he continues his bumbling, foolish pursuit of a Las Vegas baseball facility that continues to make absolutely no sense. This pair of knuckleheads has concocted a plan so idiotic, so bad, that it could only be contrived by two of sports' most incompetent, inept individuals. Fisher and Ranadive are going to have the Athletics play in Sacramento's AAA ballpark. As a standalone, that's a freaking dumb idea. Of course, we all know it gets worse, much worse. Ranadive is enabling Fisher to do the exact same thing the Maloofs tried to do to Sacramento more than a decade ago. How he doesn't process this, how he doesn't understand this, it's absolutely mystifying. Yet, it's also not surprising considering this is the franchise that drafted Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic. Decision that still just kind of hurts me to the core. Everyone right now is asking what's in it for Ranadive. What's he getting out of this possible arrangement with the A's and John Fisher? Pardon my French, but fuck that. It doesn't matter what's in it for him. That's irrelevant. What matters right now is the voice of sports fans in Northern California, in Oakland, in Sacramento, in Wiltis, in Willows, in Galt, wherever you want to go. And the voice of these sports fans in Northern California is saying one thing and one thing only. Do not do business with John Fisher under any circumstances. Just because you cultivated that basketball hell at one point in time doesn't need to mean you need to be in business with the baseball devil. If we take a step back here and look away just from the sheer awfulness of the A's playing in Sacramento, from a logic standpoint, hosting John Fisher's team makes no sense. Who is going to go watch this team play at Sutter Health Park? Certainly not most A's fans, and if the A's fans do decide to go, they're going to be there to make a scene and embarrass John Fisher. They are certainly not going to root for the temporary home team. Giants fans in the Sacramento Valley certainly aren't going to see the A's play unless the Giants happen to be their opponent. In fact, many of those Giants supporters are going to be kind of annoyed that the team's AAA franchise is getting shuttled out of town, or who knows where the Rivercats are going. No one seems to actually have an answer for that part of the equation. But I would say you can't really have a AAA team and a Major League Baseball team share a stadium. That's a terrible look, even for Major League Baseball. The politicians involved in all this are equally as tone deaf as Ranadive. Outgoing Mayor Darrell Steinberg, the Sacramento City Council, they just seem to have no idea what they're doing. They're trying to play both sides while telling the world, hey, look at us, we're playing both sides.
Okay, a couple things right off the bat there, pal. Number one, never tell one side that you're playing both sides.
Yeah.
So what is in it for these politicians? The answer to that question is very, very easy. We know Fisher isn't afraid to break out his checkbook and write menial $1,000 donations to any politician that supports his causes. Just look at the Nevada political donations list to see proof of that. Beyond that, there's this unfounded belief that somehow hosting the Oakland A's in Sacramento for 3 or so seasons will lead to a New Orleans Hornets Oklahoma City style scenario. Obviously, back in the day, Oklahoma City welcomed the Hornets as the city was cleaning up from Hurricane Katrina. The town did such a good job that eventually they got their own NBA franchise. Surely, though, Ranadive and the Sacramento City Council realize how Oklahoma City got their NBA team. They just stole the Seattle Supersonics. That, of course, caused a chain reaction, which would see Seattle try to steal the Sacramento Kings. We all know how that played out. Or do we? Apparently, Ranadive has completely forgotten this or is willfully choosing to ignore it. Admittedly, that's not all that surprising given the Kings owner's track record since taking charge of his NBA side. This is a man who hired his woefully unqualified daughter to be the general manager of the Kings G League affiliate, the Stockton Kings, only for her to quit a few months later after she got bored of playing basketball front office. I, for one, thought that was going to be his worst move of the year, right? Like, it couldn't get any worse than just rampant nepotism blowing up in your face, and boy, was I wrong about that. Vivek Ranadive helping the Oakland A's is further proof dude is just awful. Like, he does not get it. Don't let the Kings' success over 1 2/3 seasons fool you. This is an individual incapable of making the right decision. The decision that fans want. The decision that fans are pushing for. If Vivek Ranadive is keen on assisting John Fisher in his theft of the Oakland A's, it's his right to do so. But if you're going to do that, Vivek, then you need to sell the Kings, because it's clear that you don't want to listen to the fans in Sacramento and in Northern California, that you don't care about us. And if that's the case, if that's your mindset, then you don't deserve our support, because without the fans, without the city, you don't have a damn thing here. Now, some of you may be saying, this is a bit preemptive. Maybe this is too much of a knee-jerk reaction. And I'd argue, well, I learned from Tupac, you gotta bomb first. Why sit around like a bunch of patsies, like a bunch of stupid marks, for lack of a better term, waiting for Ranadive to screw us? And make no mistake, if you're hanging out with John Fisher, if you're willing to assist this kind of behavior, it means you're likely going to engage in it down the road. So when Golden1 Center gets a little older, or when Ranadive wants something else, what's he going to do? He's going to use the same playbook Fisher is using. And Fisher, of course, is using the same playbook the Maloofs tried to use on Sacramento back in the day. Just don't let it get to this point in time. Act accordingly. And right now, I think it's pretty clear. If Vivek Ranadive wants to hang out with John Fisher and support his efforts, then he doesn't deserve the support of Sacramento or Northern California, and he should sell the Kings. We have put up with so much bullshit from the Kings owner, but we've always been thankful for his work saving the franchise. But being an accessory in the Oakland A's relocation, well, that's the line in the sand. It's been alleged that Ranadive fired former Kings general manager Jeff Petrie because he wanted to draft Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's stupid. That's a dumb decision. But helping John Fisher, assisting in the A's relocation, that is inexcusable. I don't care if he likes the idea of a green beam at Rayleigh Field. I don't care if you think that this somehow gets Sacramento its own baseball franchise in a few years. Because let me tell you something, it does not do that. And you would have to be an absolute idiot to think that would be the case. Do the right thing and prove you aren't an awful owner, Vivek Ranadive. Survey says, though, to not get my hopes up. And boy, if Fisher brings the A's to Sacramento, it's going to be a shit show of all shit shows. I don't even know how this would go, but I think it ends pretty ugly for everyone involved. Yet the one man who can end this right now, who could nip this all in the bud, doesn't seem to care all that much. Hey, what do you know? Sports in the 2020s. What a time to be alive. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to know more about how the previous terrible ownership group of the Sacramento Kings named their arena after a scam company. Video upper right-hand corner of your screen is the place to go. Until next time, I'm Shine Hollis. This is The Touchback. Hashtag sell a team, and that's directed at both John Fisher and Vivek Ranadive. Most importantly, though, hashtag take it out to the 25.